long time ago, I can still remember how the music used to make me smile. And I knew if I had my chance that I could make those people dance, and maybe they'd be happy for a while. February made me shiver. Every paper I delivered, bad news on the doorstep. I could not take one more step. I can't remember if I cried when I read about his widow bride, but something touched me deep inside the day. The music died.
Today, on what would have been his 75th birthday, Hollywood honors the late Buddy Holly. Let me tell you a little bit now about our honoree. In a period of only 18 months from when Buddy Holly and the Crickets hit the charts with their first release, That'll Be the Day, to when he died in a tragic plane crash, Buddy Holly topped the charts with more than 27 top 40 hits worldwide. Buddy Holly died on February the 3rd, 1959, often referred to as the day the music died. But even in his short life, Buddy Holly changed the sound and look of rock and roll forever, leaving a permanent standard that continues to influence artists all over the world. Now, before there was a British invasion of America led by the Beatles, there was an American invasion of England led by Buddy Holly. After bleak post-war years, Holly's energy and style triggered a musical revolution in that country. And in fact, the Beatles took their name in tribute to Buddy Holly and the Crickets. And that is why we have placed Buddy's star right here next to the stars of the Beatles. Today, the Holly in Hollywood stands for Buddy Holly.
If you knew, baby, soon, baby, don't mind how to do without begging. My baby said, girl, I love to tell you the truth. Baby said, baby soon, oh, how my heart yearns for you, begging. My baby said, girl, I love to Is everybody ready to rock tonight? Well, we're Comeback Buddy, and we're very glad to be here tonight. I want to introduce the band real quick. This is Peggy Sue over here on the bass. This is Mr. Don Rinehart on the drums. Let's give him a big hand. My name's Mike, sometimes known as Buddy, sometimes known as something else.
Actually, I grew up in Illinois and started out in a town called Downers Grove, Illinois, and I had a lot of my family around me. My aunts and uncles were all very musical. Each of my brothers played music. My mom was a singer in a vocal group with her two sisters, and my mom has always had a good ear for vocalizing, and she's given me a lot of coaching. She's given me a lot of my education in singing.
Crying over you, crying over you, and yes, and now you're gone. But from this moment on, I'll be crying, 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 yeah, crying, yeah, crying.
From Illinois, we had a lot of a big music program in Downers Grove, teaching us at a young age instruments. I played the trumpet, was my original instrument. I attribute my trumpet playing mostly to helping me build up my lungs for my singing, so I think that helped me with that. When we got to our teen years, our family moved to Southern Illinois, and the music program wasn't as big in Southern Illinois. We were in a small town, and we started going in different directions with music, and we started playing guitars. We liked rock, and so we had a band called Four on the Floor was the name of our band in Southern Illinois, and it was my brother Dean, myself, Brian Ganzar, and my brother Gary on drums. Four on the Floor's biggest success was maybe playing at a junior high. And when I was in high school, that was a time back in the 70s, there was a revival of the 50s. The 50s were a cool thing, kind of like that 70s show that came out when young people were getting into the 70s. Well, I lived in the 70s, so for us it was the show Happy Days and the music of Sha Na Na. That was a band that had a TV show, and they were a vocal group, and it was mostly fun. Anyway, we had a 50s sock hop at our high school, which I had never gone to before, but our teachers put it on. It was Jim Baird, he was my political science teacher. Mick Peterson was my English teacher. Chuck Buchanan, I don't think I ever had him as a teacher, but he was the lead singer in their group, and they were called Impending Shame. I dressed up like a nerd that night, and I didn't know who Buddy Holly was, but I put on some glasses that I popped the lenses out of some sunglasses, and I wore a white shirt, and they thought that I looked like Buddy Holly. So that night at the sock hop, I was crowned the teen king. And so at that same time, we had the band Four on the Floor, and Impending Shame wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't a full group. It was two singers and a guitar player, and we had the rest of the group to join in with them. So we joined in with them. And anyway, I was really inspired by that and enjoyed it because we ended up playing every month, and we just kept playing mostly Elks Clubs, parties, and it was fun. And so we were young, we were in our late teens, and we ended up kind of going our separate way with that. I went off and studied music in college. My brother Dean studied music in college, and the group just sort of faded away. And I want to take a break for a second. Can we take a break?
Well, it's a one for the money, one for the show. You're ready now, go back. Never my blue suede shoes. Ready to do the thing. Well, my blue suede shoes. You knock me down, step on my face, slander my name all over the place. Do the thing that you wanna do. Honey, lay over and shoot. Step on the blue suede shoe. If you think well, my blue suede shoe. 1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, a rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, a rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, a rock. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. Put your little rings on and join me, honey. We'll have some fun with the back strikes fun. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. They're gonna rock, rock, rock till broad daylight. They're gonna rock around the clock tonight. When the clock strikes 2, 3 and 4, the man shuts down and we'll yell for more. They're gonna rock around the clock tonight. They're gonna rock, rock, rock till broad daylight. They're gonna rock around the clock tonight. Let's rock. Blue, blue, blue suede shoes. Blue, blue, blue suede shoes. Blue, blue suede shoes. Blue, blue suede shoes. Anything else about blue suede shoes? Oh, baby, whole lot of shaking going on. Oh, baby, baby, it can't go wrong. Ain't no faking, a whole lot of shaking going on. Oh, baby, we got kicking in the barn, 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 barn. Oh, baby, barely got the whole lot of home. Ain't no faking, a whole lot of faking going on. The Killer.
I made a decision in the 80s that I wanted to. I decided to go to California and try and get into the business as a songwriter, and it was pretty tough, and it didn't really it didn't lead to where it wasn't rewarding. I just ended up working a lot, and I made a new start in Arizona. Things didn't work out in California, so I came here, and my brother Dean was already established here, and he was working with a company called Applause Productions, and they actually had a need for a Buddy Holly impersonator. A gentleman was turning 50, and he was born on the February date that's considered the day the music died, and he wanted to have Buddy Holly at his birthday party. So Dean, my brother Dean, volunteered me to be Buddy Holly for that, and so I felt like I was going back to things I did in my earlier days and taking a new direction. I was sort of looking for a new direction at the time, and what was very important in my working with Applause Productions is that's how I met Janine, Peggy Sue, and she actually was in a dance troupe at the same time, and the dance troupe performed with us.
In 1990, I was working for Applause Productions with Bob and Mari Messenger, and they are a local production company based out of Scottsdale, Arizona. And that is where I first met Mike's older brother, Dean, and worked with him for about 5 years, doing performances and shows. And he was the sax player in the band, and he volunteered Mike to do a Buddy Holly performance when the production company was hired to do an event. The dance troupe danced behind Mike singing. We all had poodle skirts on, and we were just his little bebop group behind him, and we did all the little screams when he came out on stage, and we were just shabopping behind him and just doing some backup and dancing. And then after that performance, we got to know each other. That was in 1997.
We did that event, and I ended up doing several more with Applause Productions after that. One of them being, we got to play for the 80th birthday for Murray Deutsch. And Murray Deutsch was the publisher for Buddy Holly's That'll Be the Day in New York. And that is also the gentleman who Maria Elena was a secretary for. And Buddy actually met her through his experience with Murray Deutsch. So we got to meet Murray Deutsch and play music for him.
He was continuing to play, learning the guitar and doing a lot of Buddy Holly songs, and he was new to the area from California, so I, being a native, I knew where everything was, and I was his driver and his roadie, and I would take him around to different things where he was doing solo performances, and I was also his dance motivator. I got people going. I was his #1 fan club.
When we met, we were pretty much determined to go out on a date. So we did that, and we decided ourselves that we liked this so much that we wanted to start our own group.
Last year we played for us. We do sock hops. We do those. They did those back in the 50s. But we played one up in Hollister, California last year. And when we were setting up, a gentleman came up to us and told us that his wife is Richie Valens' sister. And we met her. Her name's Connie Lemos. She's a very neat lady, and if you saw the movie La Bamba, she was the little girl that ran up to Richie before he left on his last tour and told him that she didn't want him to go. And really cool thing was we got to play the song for her, so.
so much, everybody. Happy New Year. We hope to see you again soon. We're Come Back Buddy. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
Go get warm.
And now, let me bring up to the stage the woman who has kept the legacy of Buddy Holly alive. Please welcome his wife, Maria Elena Holly. Now you're going to get to hear from Maria Elena, but first there we have some special guests who would like to be here and say a few words. Our first speaker was a personal friend of Buddy's and along with his brother, toured together with him during the infancy of rock and roll back in the 50s. He actually told Buddy this: if you are going to wear glasses, make them big and stand out. Please help me welcome Walk of Famer Phil Everly of the Everly Brothers.
Well, I'm proud to be here. It's a special day, and especially nice to see you here. And I think it's about time we got to this. You know, we've been around. His music has echoed on for the decades that we've all been around. And he's influenced so many people, it's just unbelievable. And I know everybody is as proud as I am to see this happen finally. You know, it's true. Buddy was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in the first 10, along with my brother and I and a few of the founding members. And what they created in the beginnings is really the base on which they built all this music. And I'm really very, very proud. And thank you all for showing up.
When I was trying to come up with a band to start doing the Comeback Buddy music, well, there was a guy named Greg Benson who played drums. I'd known him since my work in California, and he actually happened to live in Arizona too. So we started working together. We didn't have a bass player at the time. We didn't know where that was going to go. But I went into a music store called Music Go Round. At the time they had used instruments, and it was kind of like Play It Again Sports, where you go and you buy a catcher's mitt or something that somebody didn't want anymore and you could get a good deal on it. Well, they had an upright bass in there, and when I saw that I thought, wouldn't that be cool if Janine could learn the bass? And so I presented that to her, and she really was excited about it.
And he called me and asked me what I thought about would I want to learn to play it. And I said, okay. And he said, great, let's buy it. I said, okay, where are you? So we met at Harmony House, and that's how we bought our first bass. And then he taught me how to play it. So we're kind of like Buddy Holly and Waylon Jennings when he went on his Winter Dance Party tour. Buddy needed a bass player and to tour, and so he hired Waylon Jennings, and he bought him the bass so he could play it. And Mike did the same for me. He bought me the bass and he taught me how to play it. So I mostly just played the upright bass for several years, and then when we started touring and doing some traveling, it was a little inconvenient to take it, so then I started on the electric bass. I really enjoy playing the electric bass now. It took a little while. I like it because it's like having a dance partner. So it gives me an opportunity to move around on stage, and I can dance and play the music.
So it was about 1999 we started the group up. We didn't have very much work. I remember we made a flyer up. This was back before we had very much internet skills, and I remember we played at this diner and we had a photo of Janine and I and the guy that owned the diner together, and we wanted to have a band shot, so we took a photo of Greg and cut the head off of it, and we stuck it on the guy's body, and then we went to Kinko's and we made a photo of it so we could make a group shot of us. And so Greg was considerably shorter and more stocky than, I was taller than him in that one pretty much, so we thought it was kind of funny, but that was one of our promo flyers that we made of us as a group.
This next song we're going to play is actually one of the most requested songs made to us when we first started this group about 10 years ago, and we especially got asked to do it playing right in here in Glendale at Glendale Glitter and Glow, and so we're going to do it, and we got a little intro that we play to this one. And it goes like this.
Someday I'm gonna write the story of my life. I'll tell about the night we met and how my heart can't forget the way you smiled at me. A white sport coat and a pink carnation. I am all dressed up for the day. A white sport coat go. Now you change your mind to see. Someone else will hold my dreams. A white sport coat and a pink carnation, and in a blue mood. A white sport coat and a pink carnation. I'm all dressed up for the dance. A white sport coat and a pink carnation. I'm all alone in a romance. What you told long ago, to the wrong with me you go. Now you change your mind to see. Someone else will hold my dreams. A white sport coat and a pink carnation, and in a blue mood, and in a blue mood. I'm in a blue mood. Marty Robbins. Thank you.
We're so glad to be here.
Every day it's getting closer, going faster than a roller coaster. Love like yours will truly come my way. Every day it's getting faster, friends all say, go on up and ask her. Love like yours will truly come my way. Every day seems a little longer, every way love's a little stronger. Come like me, do you have a long more true love from me? Every day it's getting closer, going faster than a roller coaster. Love like yours will truly come my way. Every day seems a little longer, every way love's a little stronger. Come what may, do you ever long for true love from me? Every day it's getting closer, going faster than a roller coaster. Love like yours will truly come my way. Love like yours will truly come my way.
Thank you. Some very nice dancing. And you look very nice too.
When I first started this group, we were still trying to put things together, and I remember sometimes we'd be playing a song and things would just like fall apart in the middle of the song, and I felt like one strong part of what I did was my singing, not my guitar playing. I always consider myself an amateur guitar player. I don't think I'll ever get past that, but when things would fall apart, I would just start singing louder, thinking that it would cover everything up. So I'm happy to say that, you know, through the years I don't do that anymore because I don't think it was very musical. But another thing I did too is having my own music group. I didn't feel comfortable talking between songs. I didn't feel that I had the rapport that I could, like, you know, keep people interested. You know, I think I'm a little boring. So instead of having you know, stories between songs, I decided to do medleys. Medleys have been something that we do that makes Comeback Buddy more of a show than just your average rock band playing somewhere. And we found out too that by doing these medleys, they're really good for dancing. People are up there already on the dance floor. If you just play a song and then stop, and then play another song and stop, it stops the whole show. And we started doing medleys too because we play a lot of dances. And when I'm taking a song that I want to do and putting it into our set, I think about how it will be for a dance. And some of them evolved into medleys that weren't originally medleys before. Like, for example, when we do Back in the USA and we go into Blueberry Hill. And that was just myself messing around with my music theory that I studied in school and trying to make one song go into another one, and it turned out to be kind of interesting.
I'm so glad I'm living in the USA. That's one thing I got it right here in the USA. I found myself on a blueberry hill. I found a blueberry hill where I found you. The moon stood still on a blueberry hill. Until my dreams came true. I went there, the window played love sweet and deep. I'm all of those plans that we made were never to be. We're apart, and you're part of me still. I'm holding you for my thrill. I'm moving. Next domino.
What do you think of Peggy Sue's poodle skirt? It looks pretty nice, huh?
Go red, white, and blue. Woo!
For some of you who may not know, we had a salute to American veterans here starting about 8 this morning with motorcycles, and they were filling the parking lot all the way back to the center. And this audience, as much of rock and rollers as you are, did not do these people justice. No, you do that again. Just one more time. All right. We want to thank them, the band, his wife, that's Peggy Sue, and Buddy. And on behalf of the Salute to American Veterans, we gratefully recognize Comeback Buddy for your support, assistance, and call to duty for homeless veterans. Your active involvement made this salute a salute to remember. You are much appreciated for stepping up in support of this needed cause. Congratulations on your participation. Dated January 15th, 2011, no veteran no longer will ever be forgotten. God bless each of you for doing this. You guys want to hear a little bit more of the song? I had a dream about hugging Peggy Sue.
While I was first starting doing this with the production company I was working with, met a guy that did an Elvis show, and he was sort of like Elvis in his last few years. He was a little on the heavy side, but he had this presence about him that when you were in the room with him, you felt like you were in the room with Elvis. And that to me is what you should be striving for when you put on a show like that. Is you should, not so much try and sound just like him or look just like him, but try and do them some justice, do something with their music that makes people want to hear it more, I actually kind of like to think of myself as maybe how would Buddy Holly sound if he didn't die, and he still lived and he got a chance to be an artist in his later years. A lot of those people didn't make it past, I'm fortunate to be alive in 48 and doing this. I mean, Elvis only made it to 42. I never want to do something by an artist that I respect that seems like a cartoon character version, like caricatures. You can't make what they do into a clown show. I took the name of Comeback Buddy from actually a Bob Seger song. Gave me the idea. There's a song that he does called Rock and Roll Never Forgets, and it's basically looking back on the old days, Chuck Berry and the music from those days, and how well, basically there's a line in the song that says, "Come back, baby, rock and roll never forgets." And so I just sort of thought maybe we might do our rendition of that song, and we never did it, but I took the name from that. I got the idea from that Bob Seger song. So
Brandon Amos on drums.
Brandon was our drummer that took over for us after Greg Benson left. Greg moved back to California, and he ended up being our California drummer when we did gigs in California for a while. Brandon Amos took over and became the drummer in our group for the first couple years after that I recall, and very good drummer. Very good drummer, enjoyed him. Greg, by the way, is a very good drummer too, and Greg, good backup vocalist.
You shake my nerve and you rattle my brain. Your kind of love drives a man insane. You shook my will, oh what a thrill. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. I left in love cause I thought it was funny. You came along in a moment, honey. You changed my mind, this love is kind. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Kiss me, baby. Woo, feels good.
We all know the phrase, the day the music died, and we know that it referred to the day the plane crash took place that killed several singers, including Buddy Holly, but the music didn't die, did it?
And people love that music. In fact, that's why we're saying Come Back Buddy. That's the name of the band that we have here this morning. Here we are. This is Mike Randall, who kind of looks like Buddy Holly. Good morning.
Hi, Dan. How are you?
First and foremost, the fascination with Buddy Holly.
We do Buddy Holly songs, but we mostly do 50s music. That's our main concentration. So we kind of do like a sort of a medleys and things like that. So
now introduce us to the other band members.
Okay.
Starting.
I'm actually Buddy. This is Peggy Sue over here.
Oh, wait a minute. There's Peggy Sue.
Yep. And
All right.
this is Brando on the drums.
All right, there you go. Now, the reason you guys are here is because we've been talking about the Rock and Roll Marathon coming
Yes.
up. You guys are going to be one of how many bands? 56 bands did I hear?
I think, yes, that sounds right. I believe so.
Where are you guys going to be?
Mile marker 9. It's going to be 16th Street in Missouri. It's right in front of the fire station.
So it's the people who are doing the full marathon, heading up Central to Missouri and going on over, and you'll be entertaining for a couple hours, right?
Yes, exactly. About 8 a.m. until 10 a.m.
Told me, son, always be a good boy, don't ever play with guns. Well, I shot San Reno just to watch you die. When I hear the train a coming, I hang my head and cry. riding in a fancy dining car. No, they're drinking coffee and smoking big cigar. Well, I knew I had it coming. I know I can't be free. But those people keep moving. That's what tortures me.
They say that the music of the 50s was the first time that young people ever had their own music. So when we play for people now and do this music, I feel like they know that this is their music, and that's why they're so excited about it. I like to think that what we do is kind of a rock and roll revival, and it gets people who have lived through that music at that time to go back there again and realize that it's still around. And it also gets young people to learn about what the music was like back then. And as the years, going from my teen years till now, I've seen a big decline in people who actually play musical instruments live. And I think that there's a lot of young people now that think that you just stand up and sing and the music's gonna be there behind you. And I don't know, I don't think they think about where it comes from, but I think that playing an instrument to me was the way that you survive as a musician. You can start a band, and it's hard to start a band if you just sing, because then now you're going to need to have a bass player or a guitar player or a drummer. If I can play one instrument too, that actually makes it more economical. So we're about as economical as you can get.
Please welcome music producer Peter Asher.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm honored to be here on this great occasion. Now, I don't want anyone to panic. I'm not running for office, but I'm actually going to speak for a moment about the pros and cons of government health care, and I'll tell you why. When I was a kid in England with very short sight, your first few pairs of glasses were automatically free. They came from the government. But the bad thing was they had only one style. They were little wire ones that went round your ears. So the moment I'd saved up enough money, or my parents would let me go to a real optician and choose my own glasses frames, it was an exciting moment. Now, I've actually found and still have the first pair of glasses I ever bought when I was about 16, and take a wild guess as to why I chose these particular glasses. These are the real ones from back then. Oh, thank you very much, gents. These are the actual glasses from back then. And of course, I was going around with my favorite Buddy Holly album cover trying to match his glasses, because Buddy Holly was one of my first heroes. I was introduced primarily to his music by my old singing partner, Gordon Waller, at school. And he taught me a lot of the songs. We learned almost every Buddy Holly song there was. And we were amazed, because he was using the same simple chords that we knew, but out of them, he was squeezing this extraordinary music and these brilliant songs, which were simultaneously extremely catchy and simple on the surface, but extremely complicated and meaningful on the inside. So we learned every single song and enjoyed singing all of them. So I owe Buddy a huge debt, not only for his music, but for showing me that a nerd who wears glasses could actually succeed in pop music, which I, in the end, did myself, thanks largely to him. So, thank you to Buddy, and I'm proud to be here with Maria Elena on such a fabulous day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter.
We played very little in the first couple of years, and what ended up happening is we Janine and I, as a marketing strategy, we decided to send out our flyers to Chamber of Commerce. And don't ask me why, I just thought that they would be people that would think, maybe use this music for their, whatever they did. At least they could tell businesses about us. So one of the places that we sent our flyer to was the Glendale Chamber of Commerce.
We were doing kind of like a benefit. We donated some of our time to some chamber events in the city of Glendale, Arizona. And Mike's brother, Garey, played drums with us that night because we didn't have a drummer. And we met Don. He was the Glendale Chamber of Commerce president, and he told us that he used to be a drummer.
And then we met Don at the circus. Don was working at the circus. No. Actually, I have to tell you about that too. And Don's wife Tammy, she's been really helpful in a lot of things that we did. But we played for the Chamber of Commerce in Glendale, and Tammy came up to us and said, "My husband plays the drums," and that was Don.
Probably 2002 or 2003. Mike and Janine, Randall, were putting together Come Back Buddy, and they had another guy playing drums, and they were just getting together, and they contacted the chamber and said, we want to play some gigs, we play for free, we just don't want to get our name out there, would you be interested in using us for a trade show or some event or something like that? And so we called Mike. I didn't even talk to him. One of my staff members did and said, sure, we've got a trade show, we need some entertainment for about an hour. And so we hired them to play for free, which is funny because I rarely will play for free anymore, but the first gig that I ever met Mike and Janine was one that they did for me, and I didn't pay them, so I guess I owe them some free gigs, I guess. But anyway, they played for us, and were really good, and Mike's such a great singer. I was really impressed with them, and they played a lot of songs that I had played with other bands throughout the years. And I remember working the trade show and listening to them play and going, oh God, I used to play that song with such and such a band and that kind of thing. So I knew most of the music, and that's how I met them. And I talked to Mike a little bit afterwards and said, geez, I really liked your music, and if we get an opportunity, I know I didn't pay you for anything tonight, but if we get an opportunity to recommend you for some other gigs or to other people, we'd be happy to do that. And we got to talking, and I told him I used to play drums and that kind of. He says, well, give me your number, and he says, every once in a while we get in a bind for a drummer. And I said, well, I haven't played probably 14 years, but I still got my drums somewhere hidden in the garage, and I suppose I could dig them out if you ever got in a jam.
Here's a Chuck Berry song that Buddy Holly did on his last tour.
Arrested on charges of unemployment, he was sitting in the witness stand. The judge's wife called up the district attorney, said to free that brown-eyed man. You want your job, you better free that brown-eyed man. I was flying across the desert in a TWA. I saw a woman walk across the sand. He was walking 30 miles and road to Bombay to find a brown-eyed handsome man. The destination was a brown-eyed handsome man. Well, back in history 3,000 years, in fact, ever since the world began, I've been a whole lot of good women shedding tears about a brown-eyed handsome man. A lot of trouble was a brown-eyed handsome man. Said, darling, go out and find yourself a brown-eyed handsome man. You know daddy is a brown-eyed handsome man. Now my to Venus was a beautiful lass. She had the world in the palm of her hand. She lost both arms in a wrestling match to win a brown-eyed handsome man. Upon the corners of a brown-eyed handsome man. Not 2 and 3 count, nobody on. It's a high fly, you understand. Round the third, it would have hit for home. As a brown-eyed handsome man, a lot of trouble as a brown-eyed handsome man. Thank you so much. We get to meet a lot of fun and interesting people playing this music, and a friend of mine, I hadn't seen him for about 6 years, and he sent me an email the other day, and it was a photo that he took of Buddy Holly just a few days before his last concert. It was in Iowa, and he got a picture of him on the stage, and it's got the little white border around it that says February of '59 on it. And Buddy Holly's up on the stage with Tommy Alsop, and you see the back of people's heads, and it was pretty neat. So I don't think that picture's been seen too much. But
I was in Fort Dodge, Iowa on the 30th of January, 1959, and that was 3 days before Buddy Holly got killed, and he was performing in a tour called the Winter Dance Party. And on that tour were Dion and the Belmonts, Buddy Holly, the Big Bopper, Richie Valens, and a young fella that just had a one-hit wonder called Frankie Sardo. And they were touring the Midwest, and one of the stops that they had was obviously Fort Dodge, Iowa, the Larimar Ballroom, and that was close to my hometown. So we went up there that night to see them, and then the following Thursday, they were going to be near my hometown, but I couldn't wait. I wanted to get up there and get to see them, and then I thought, well, I'll go down and see them again on Thursday. Good thing I went, because if I hadn't have, that would have been it. I wouldn't have gotten to see them. So it was a winter night in January in Iowa, real cold, probably down near zero. And the performance that I saw and where I took the picture, was at the Larimar Ballroom, and it was very poor quality, and there's a lot better quality pictures out there that were taken at all of these different venues. And the event itself was Friday night, and then the following Monday night was when the same group had zigzagged across Iowa and up into Minnesota, and then back down to Clear Lake, Iowa. And then that is the fateful night where they had what we can refer to as the day the music died, when they left the Surf Ballroom that night. Why, the rest is kind of rock and roll history. They got on a small plane out there at Mason City, Iowa, which was right adjoining Clear Lake. Roger Peterson was the pilot, and they got in the little Beechcraft Bonanza and took off at midnight. And the next thing we know is when we get up the next morning, and we're saddened to get the news that the plane went down.
Isn't he neat? I mean, he's just so energetic about that stuff. Yeah. I love talking to him about that stuff, because I just feel like I'm talking to somebody, who just discovered it. That's how excited he is about that music. That's cool.
I appreciate you guys doing what you're doing and putting this thing together, because this is the only way that we can keep this music alive. And there's fewer and fewer of us that were around there then when things like this were going on.
But he's really a good source of someone who gives you information about that stuff in the past. I mean, I was amazed to get that photo. When you get a chance to take a look at that, it's just so cool. I mean, it looks like somebody just took it yesterday. That's going to be sought after by some people to get their hands on that photo.
I'm gonna tell you how it's gonna be. You're gonna give your love to me. I wanna love you night and day. You know my love not fade away. No, my love not fade away. My love is bigger than a Cadillac. I try to drive it, but you're pushing me back. Your love for me has got to be real for you to notice how I feel. Love, love, not fade away. Love, love, not fade away. Once again, I want to introduce Mr. Don Rinehart on the drums. I want to tell you a quick little story about him. Just on Thursday night of this week, he closed his car door and he forgot to take his thumb out of the way, and his thumb got closed in there, and it actually locked on him, so he had to reach around with his other hand and unlock the door while his thumb was in there. But he's doing pretty good right now for that, so. He doesn't do that very often. He won't do it again, I know that.
Don has been very excited about our dancing to his drum solos, and I think he's taken it on as a personal challenge to see if he can out-drum our dancing feet. And he keeps getting faster and faster and faster and longer, and gets this look on his face like he's going to just burst out laughing any second. But it has become a challenge. It has become an absolute challenge. I look forward to the drum solos just to show him we can keep up with him.
Let's give him a big hand.
One of these days it's going to get to a point where at the end of Spinal Tap the drummer goes poof. Well, it's either the dancers go poof or the drummer goes poof. I don't know which will happen.
The Smart and Final stores were coming into Glendale, and they called the chamber in Glendale and said, we're looking for a band that kind of plays wholesome family music and music that everybody knows. Can you recommend somebody? And we thought of Mike and Janine. And so we gave that guy their number, and that led to them getting a contract for several years with Smart and Final stores to do openings and anniversaries for them. And I played in California and Arizona and all over the kind of the Southwest for several years. And didn't hear anything from them for a couple of years after that. And then one day, about Memorial Day, this 7 years ago, Mike called me and he said, hey, do you remember me? This is Mike Randall. And I said, yeah, you're the Buddy Holly guy that played for our trade show. And he goes, yeah. And he says, I need a drummer. I'm really in a jam. And I said, yeah, I'll help you out. What's the gig? Well, it's only for like an hour and a half. And he says, but it's in San Diego. And he says, I'll pay you, and I'll pay your money, gas money to get over there and that kind of thing, but I really would appreciate, if you could help me out. And we used to go to San Diego every year, take the kids over and that kind of thing, and I said, well, we'll just make it a 4-day weekend. He didn't tell me, though, however, that it was the San Diego Rock and Roll Marathon and that we were going to be playing at the start where there's like 30,000 people, the runners. He left that part out.
I remember Don was kind of nervous when he came over. Tammy came with him too. I think she wanted to check things out and see what it was like. But Don, the funny thing is he was kind of nervous, and he hadn't played in a lot of years, but he did really well. And Don's always been very able to pick up on new things that we do. I mean, new oldies, So like, for example, we just recently started doing Don't Be Cruel. And I could pretty much, another one we just started doing is Heartbeat too. We did it a couple nights ago. And Don, when I told him we were going to do it, we were getting ready to play, and I told him we're going to do this song that night, and he said, did Buddy Holly do that one? You know, that was Don. And then he gets up and he starts playing the exact drum feel that they use in the song. So he's got the stuff in his head. He knows what needs to be done on him. Don's style fits in very well with what we do. In my opinion, his drum style sounds a lot like Roy Orbison's drummer, which I like that sound.
Okay, I guess I'll go on, I'm almost late. Maybe tomorrow night, but wait.
Here's where you clap your hands right now. We can get you to do that. That gives me a little break.
What do I see?
There's just a certain type of rhythm and that backbeat for the 50s songs, and Don nails it every time. He's very consistent. He's got it down. He's perfect. Perfect drummer.
We went and played the Rock and Roll Marathon. First time my daughter and my son had ever heard me play in a band, which was kind of interesting. I didn't think about that. And I remember them coming up to the stage after we got done. We only played for about an hour, and my daughter said, "Dad," she goes, "you were awesome." She goes, "I didn't really like the music that well. It's kind of old person's music, but you were awesome." And then I realized that she'd never heard me play before. So that was kind of interesting. But that was the start of Comeback Buddy. Mike called me about 2 weeks later, and he said, "We're really looking for a drummer to play regularly with us. Would you have any interest?" And at the time, they still weren't playing a lot. And, you know, playing 2 or 3 times a month and that kind of thing. And I said, "Sure, that's fine for me." Little did I know, 7 years later, we'd be averaging 2 and sometimes 3 gigs a week. But it's been fun. It's been 7 years now, this May. And I've enjoyed pretty much every minute of it. And we all get along so well, and I think that's the real key. Bands tend to break up and not stay together and those kind of things, but Mike and Janine are just super nice people, and they've always been really good to me, and hopefully I've been good to them, and we all get along really well, and so it's been real fun to be part of the band, and I'm looking forward to eventually in retirement to be a part of Comeback Buddy and play even more.
So you guys want to sing a song right now, or what? Okay, right now we're on our way to Steve Goddard's. He is he's a DJ at Cool FM, and he's going to talk to us about some oldies. And I am particularly looking forward to seeing some guitars that he has that were played by Buck Owens. That is one of my things I'm so excited about. That's got to be Buck Owens right there.
There's one.
Could I hold that guitar?
Oh, sure.
I really would
Play
like
it.
to. I would
That's what they're for.
I said I wanted a picture of me holding Buck's guitar, so you guys are going to have to use my camera here.
They're both Buck played. Larry Daniels was the program director that hired me at KNIX.
Okay.
And this is what you would get with your name and a plaque on it after 10 years of working.
Oh, that's neat.
For the Owens.
Oh, really?
And I
didn't know that.
Yeah, oh yeah, everybody got a guitar. And I was there.
Awesome.
I was there 8 years.
So you didn't get the full.
So I didn't get the guitar. Didn't get it. Michael Owens heard about it. Buck's son.
Oh, he's got a son named Michael? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Michael. Michael was the general manager, and then there's Buddy, who probably knows Buddy Allen, Buddy Owens. He was the music director at the station. But anyway, Michael got wind of it, and I came home 3-4 years ago. There's a package at the door.
Oh, nice.
With a letter from Michael. That meant more to me than a Rolex or $10,000.
Yeah.
And it's it's a cheap guitar, but it's what it represented.
We do a Buck Owens song in our group. We do Hot Dog.
Oh, great song.
It's Josh and Brian's favorite one in our group.
What's that? You want to go home and go to bed? You really want to stop now? Because we'll play for some longer. Yeah, another hour, right? Before bedtime? Yeah. Okay, we can do that.
We also heard that you'd like to dance here. We heard that. So we do have a dance floor here. We'll try to dim the lights a little bit more if we can.
Well, my baby works in a hot dog stand, making them hot dogs as fast as she can. Upstairs the cat says, don't be slow, give it to hot dogs ready to go. Hot dog, she's my baby. Hot dog, Johnny baby. Hot dog, don't be baby. We all see my baby in a hot dog stand. Well, in the cool of the evening when the sun goes down, all the chicks and the cats all gather around. Now the hot dogs and red soda pop, they head down the road to a hip get hop. Hot dog, she's my baby. Hot dog, Johnny baby. Hot dog, don't be baby. We wanna see my baby in the hot dog stand. Well, I wait for my baby every night at 12. She closes up the shop and we lose ourselves. In a hip get up in a crazy way. We're doing the bop till my break of day. Hot dog, she's my baby. Hot dog, drive me crazy. Hot dog, don't be baby. We wanna see my baby in a hot dog stand. Well, the little things you say and do that make me want to be with you. Rain on this rain, I'm feeling and I know it's got to be when you say I love you. Rain on me, rain dance and hold me down. The way you kiss and say goodnight. Rain on this rain, I'm feeling and I know. It's got to be when you say I love you. Rain on me,
The guitar that stands out from the most for me is that gold Buck Owens, gold hardware Buck Owens one. That's got Buck Owens written all over it right there.
He came into the station and I literally had I had a stack of Buck Owens albums like that. I had everything. And Michael said, he's not going to sign all those. He said, he never does. And I said, well, you know, it's worth a shot. Son of a bitch, he did. Signed every damn one of them. I mean, I don't do that often, but he really meant something.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Cool. Good to see you, Mike.
Yeah,
Really
nice meeting you. Yeah,
Really
enjoyed it so much.
I did too.
I'm surprised he could fit so much in his place in there. I mean, that is like, if you ever saw the inside of a radio station back in like the 70s, you would walk around in there to get the records that you'd play. I mean, you'd pull out records that you're going to put on your radio show. So they had them all like a library of records, and so he's put that into his home like that. That's just so cool. Those questions unanswered, and when you meet someone like Steve, he can really open the vault and let you know all the things that you are questioning or learning. Can't find that everywhere, can you?
I think maybe Mike, just simply because of who he is, and he's such a student of that music and that genre, that it probably means more to him in terms of exposing people today to that kind of music. I'm just kind of a goofy drummer that I like playing music, and if we were playing polkas and I didn't have any other choice except to play polkas, I'd probably be sitting back there drinking beer playing polkas just because I like playing music. I played country western music for years and I hated it, but I liked performing and I liked playing, and the people that I played with in the band were fun. So it really didn't make any difference to me what the music was. I'm kind of in it more for, I look at music for me as kind of therapy, and God knows I need a lot of therapy, but it's a lot better than drugs and a lot better than booze. So that's, I kind of look at that as it's sort of my therapy. So I think it's important that people know about that music and know how it started and that kind of thing. I'm just not that much of a student of it. I'm more into just experimenting around with it. Little kids that dance in a lot of places that we play know the words to That'll Be the Day. I mean, that song, came out in 1958 or 59, and or sometime in that era. So, I mean, if little 5 and 6 year old kids now know that song's going to last.
Now our next speaker is an actor who portrayed Buddy Holly in the hit film The Buddy Holly Story. And I should note, the role garnered him an Oscar nomination. Please welcome to the stage, Garey Busey.
This is a magical day. All over the country and all over the world. Buddy's 75 today. On Earth he would be. When I was in the 6th grade, I had a paper route. And we listened to music from Fred Waring singers, Ray Conniff, Mitch Miller, and that was fun. But we found out that when we played Peggy Sue on the transistor radio, we could throw the paper route before the breakfast restaurants were open. We just went a lot faster. And Buddy also said, you should never compromise your music. And he didn't compromise his music. And I remember when he went down in the plane, I was in the 7th grade. I remember like it was yesterday. I remember the radio and the picture window in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Just didn't have any idea what that loss would be. And then I was chosen, not by studio system or by casting agents, but I do sincerely feel in my heart, Charles Hardin Holly chose me to play him in the movie. And playing him in the movie, I got to learn how to wear glasses. It was a beautiful thing, and the star of the movie was not me, it was Buddy Holly's songs. And this is his birthday, and his tribute we give to him will last forever and ever and always. And with Maria Elena standing by my side, who I met the night of the premiere, has been a champion of champions in her heart with Buddy Holly, her husband. And that is a beautiful thing to know. It's a beautiful thing to feel. Buddy Holly, he wrote all those songs in 18 months, top 10, top 100s. He was fast. So was his band, J.I. Allison and Joe B. Malden. Let's have a hand for those guys. Without the Crickets, there would be no group of that force. I don't know, how much time do I have? Part of yours I can have. Whoa, she just said part of hers I can have. Which means time. Oh, playing Buddy Holly was a miracle and a blessing for me. And when they dyed my hair black and gave me 3 permanents for the curly hair, and the glasses and the clothes for the 50s, I could not find Garey Busey in the mirror. Therefore, I wasn't there to get in my way. I was just there to say the lines, sing the songs, and ring true with the authenticity and the truth of Buddy Holly's spirit in me. And when I was singing, everything was done in one take, every song. I was merely a vessel. I do believe Charles Hardin Holly's spirit was singing through me. And it's a beautiful thing to feel and a beautiful thing to do. And God bless all of you all for being here. And God bless Buddy Holly. Here comes that other guy.
Thank you, Garey.
We just got to meet Chuck here, who actually got to see Buddy Holly at his very last concert, so it's a real honor to meet you, Chuck. Nice to meet you. I wanted to get a photo with you, so if you're going to leave pretty soon, I want to come over here so we can get one. Okay, so I don't know if you're heading out soon, so let me know. Okay.
Okay. Well, we'll go strictly by memory of my age, you know. But although that event was so extraordinary to be able to attend, it'd be part of my life forever. But anyway, it was about, I went over there for the second gig about 9 o'clock, and the show was just getting ready to start, and everybody was gathering up against the stage, and they introduced Buddy Holly, and he came out and started doing his thing, and then he took a little break, and the Big Bopper did his thing, and Richie Valens, I can remember my friend was working backstage. He said he would sit back there with the guitar constantly and just make it talk. He said, and all 3 of the guys, even the Big Bopper, they were just true gentlemen. He said when they asked him if they wanted something, he said, yes sir, no sir, thank you. Where a lot of these stars came in and they were so hung up on their ego that they were impossible to deal with. But these 3 guys were just super personalities. So anyway, they came out and they did their songs, and everybody packed up against the stage.
There was about 1,000 people there that night. We all, of course, had the crowd forward and be as close to the stage as we could get. And I was at an age where my parents would allow me to go, but they'd have to drive over with me. So there was 2 of my other high school friends that went with us, and my mother and father went along. And surprisingly, they enjoyed Buddy's music and the whole entertainment that evening as well.
And they played all of the songs that he had as a hit at the time, and maybe some others that he had written that probably later on became a hit. And I think the curtain closed, somewhere around 11 o'clock, and then they came on and did a, maybe a 1-number on, Buddy Holly and the Crickets did a 1-number encore.
Another thing that was really kind of neat is that it was a dancing concert. It wasn't a concert where you go and you sit and watch and listen to them. You were able to participate with them. And it was, of course, during that age, we did a lot of dancing. Not so much today, but back then, that's what we did, was dancing.
And I remember getting in my car and driving home, because I lived, like I said, Mason City was 10 miles from Clear Lake, snowing like the devil, absolutely pouring down the snow. And I got home, I got up the next morning, and a group of us guys usually had breakfast together at a local restaurant in Mason City. And one of the guys came in and said, hey, did you hear about the news last night? These guys at Clear Lake, you all were killed in a plane crash. And we sat in there, we're waiting for a punchline thinking it's a joke. He says, no, this is for real. And he opened up the newspaper, and of course, there it was in the headlines. He just sat there devastated, totally devastated. He couldn't believe it. And of course, it really hit home with me because Roger Peterson was a personal friend of mine. So that's the story as it happened.
Come to find out, I guess the young pilot that they had didn't really have any instrument training. Had some instrument training, but he wasn't qualified to fly instrument. And they're thinking that probably the little snow that they had, a little icing on the airplane, and probably he lost his direction and just flew it right into the ground.
And I drove over and I drove back. But my friend, as I was driving, we were coming back from Clear Lake toward Mason City, and the friend that was in the back seat swears that the van or the car that they were in, the station wagon, was right behind us, and he saw him turn into the airport. So that's the last he ever saw him, and of course I just saw him at the concert. It was my last chance to see him.
How can this be? I saw them on stage last night. They were alive and well. They're gone. How can this be? And it really was the first time in my life that it ever hit me that we can be here today and gone tomorrow. And it can happen pretty damn quick. That was my first experience of seeing somebody die. Well, or I didn't see them, but, and I don't know what time the accident took place, maybe 1 o'clock in the morning or something like that.
The most memorable part of the evening for me was sitting in the main entranceway, which is a hallway leading into the dance floor. And it was an intermission between some of the bands, and Buddy came over, and I was sitting on a little bench out in the entryway, and he came out and sat down beside me. Of course, as a kid, at that age, you're kind of awestruck to begin with, but we started talking, and we talked about Maria Elena, and that he had called her that night and talked to her, and he was not upset, but they were just having trouble with their buses and that sort of thing as far as heat, and he was really looking forward to being able to get to Fargo-Moorhead without having endure the buses and so forth. But
that night, Buddy Holly was the drummer for the first part of the show.
He was?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And we would sit there, and I'd look at him, and this guy was, back then you didn't see him, in person.
Right.
And he was really cool drummer, and I said to somebody, I said, that guy's really cool. And then Buddy Holly came out, because he came out last.
Right.
And it was him.
He played the drums?
He was playing
Do you remember who he played for?
Well, he's playing for that band that was backing up all those other guys. Because the drummer froze his feet. See?
Right.
They didn't have the drummer.
Because when they went on the tour, they actually were using the other people's drummer.
Oh.
So that drummer must have got...
Well, somehow and then they announced it after he started playing.
That must have been interesting to see.
It was
I
really
didn't know
neat.
that.
Yeah.
That's something
not
I
very
never
many people
knew.
know that. Not very many people.
Yeah, they may not have been paying attention even if they were there.
They never announced it or anything, other than that one that said it. But yeah, he was doing it.
Very interesting.
He was very talented.
I didn't know he was. I didn't even know he played drums that much.
Good.
Yeah, because they were there that night, and I didn't have $1 to get in, so I just drove around looking for women.
Okay, got it. Did you have any luck?
I can't remember.
Can't remember. You'd remember if you had luck.
The only thing I remember the next day in school when we heard about this, when we went for lunch, we all split. About half the school didn't come back.
Larry Stump started coming out to see us. I think he started coming out when we did the Rock and Roll Marathon, and he started telling his friends about us, and he's been a really great connection to all the people that were his background. He went to Mason City High School, and his class was, they call themselves the 59ers, and some people from his class actually saw Buddy Holly's last show. They've just been amazing source of information about what it was like back then. What did it feel like to go see his last show? That must have been pretty amazing. So I'm really glad to know all of the 59ers. They're just a fun group of people, and we look forward to them being at our events anytime we play somewhere public. So I'm just really glad to know Larry, Lorene, and all of the 59ers.
It's something that you don't realize, and you know, there's been a lot of music people that have died over the years before their time, but I think Buddy Holly has probably survived. The culture changes more than anybody as far as his music is concerned. I mean, you know, the guy was only in the music business in the public for like 3 years, and he wrote a lot of good songs.
Here we are in the 21st century, and we still listen and hear Mozart, Bach, Beethoven, you know, classics. Buddy Holly's a classic. To me, it's just fantastic to see a live performance of Buddy Holly. He's just like Buddy. The voice is very, very similar, but I'm just so glad that they're doing it. Just absolutely amazing. And these guys do a fantastic job.
Yeah, but just watching him play the guitar, I could just about see it, you know.
And boy, did it bring back memories. It was just like I was in the Surf Ballroom with the Buddy Holly Band, except the Big Bopper wasn't there.
Here's something now by the Big Bopper. Hello, baby. Oh, you sweet lad. Would I what? Will I what? Oh, baby. Well, you know what I want. Chantilly lace, lace, hanging down, and wiggle at the ball, wiggle at the top, making swirl round, round, round. Like a big eyed girl, she make me act so funny, make me spend my money with you, like a dog. Oh, baby, that's what I like. Chantilly lace, lace, ponytail, hanging down, and a wiggle at the top, and a giggle at the top. Baby, swirl round, 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 and make me like a big-eyed girl. She make me act so funny, make me spend my money with you, make me look like a dog, big, like a dog. Oh, baby, that's what I like. What was that, baby? What were they? What? Oh, honey. Don't be late, honey. I ain't got no honey, oh, baby. You know what I like. Chantilly lace, lace, ponytail, hanging down, and a wiggle at the bottom, giggle at the top. Baby, swirl round, 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 nothing ever more like a big-eyed girl. She make me act so funny, make me spend my money with a real, like a dog that goes. Oh, baby, that's what I like.
We're going to play a song right now that was recorded by Elvis. It was actually done by Buddy Holly, but it's more popular from the movie Jailhouse Rock.
You don't like crazy music, you don't like rock and band. You just want to go to the movie show, sit there holding hands in the square. Baby, I don't care. I don't know why my heart does. All I know it does.
We hired Comeback Buddy. Well, they volunteered to play for our wedding preception.
You don't know anything
we were planning this party, and we have, because we do swing dance, and all of our friends are swing dancers, we couldn't think of anyone else we would rather have.
Baby, I don't care.
We met them, it would have been in 2010 on the 3rd of July. We played the Mesa 4th of July thing, but I think it was on the 3rd. And they happened to come down there and hear us, and apparently the type of music we play is really good for the type of dancing that's kind of their forte. And they heard the band, and it's like, oh my God, this is the kind of music we like to dance to.
We danced to them for a while, and then we tried out all the other bands that were there and kept coming back. So we danced to Come Back Buddy until I had holes in my shoes.
Then we basically found out their website and started
following them everywhere.
Becoming groupies.
There's no loyalty. If you come home cold, really gonna breathe. If you don't want me to be.
People actually thought they were part of our show. So after that happened, they started coming out to our events, and we think that they're going to be part of our show now, and I think they are. So
They keep telling us we need to have a name for our act, but I don't think we have an act. I think we just dance for fun. That's up to them.
the audience loves them, and people ask now when they're going to hire us if that dancing couple is going to be there. So we try and get them out as much as we can, and so we just only hope that they come out so they can make our night when we're there. So we're so happy that they come out, and we're happy that we could be part of this event. So.
And they're the nicest people we have ever met.
Great band and even better friends. Or wait a minute. Great friends and even better band. I don't know.
Thank you so much. We just actually took a little bit of a pilgrimage, and we went to Lubbock, Texas for the birthplace of Buddy Holly. So we did that last weekend. We never really did it before, so we did it last weekend, and we stopped in Clovis, New Mexico. And in Clovis, there's a studio there where Buddy Holly and the Crickets recorded. It's a Norman Petty studio, and it was the neatest part of the trip, I thought. They don't use it for recording anymore, but if you make an appointment, you can go in and take a tour of the place. And if you do that, it's really neat because it feels like you're right back there in the 50s again. There's so much of it preserved. So
Here we are at Norman Petty Studios in Clovis, and we're on our pilgrimage here to the birthplace of Buddy Holly, which is Lubbock. We'll be heading there shortly, but...
Are you Buddy Holly fans?
Actually, my wife and I and a drummer, we have a band called Come Back Buddy. We are based out of Phoenix, and we do like Buddy Holly and the Crickets, but we do lots of 50s music.
Come Back Buddy.
Yep. We thought this was going to be a quick stop over here, but this place is just amazing. This is a museum in itself, so anyone who decides to travel through Clovis, you should make an appointment with Kenneth Broad, and especially if you're in the music industry and you're interested in recording. He was Norman Petty just has done amazing things with this place to make it a place where an artist can get his best work out, and that's what happened with Buddy Holly.
On the song Every Day with the Celeste, the little music box sound, this is
That's
the Celeste.
the one.
There's a picture of Vi Petty playing it, and they would drop a mic down behind it. The reason it was originally the same color as the piano, but it went through a fire in the apartment and it lost all its finish on it. You have to hit a pretty strong lick on it to get the sound, and then with the mic.
Not really restored, it's maintained. It's been maintained all these years. Everything is original.
Yes.
And it still functions wonderfully.
So I got to sit in Buddy Holly's chair that he sat in when he listened to his playbacks.
This is where Buddy Holly sat. It's the same chair. You won't see this in Lubbock. You won't see much original over there, but this is where he would sit and listen between these Lansing Altec speakers.
Amazing.
I'll put a piece of tape on for you. And the Macintosh amp. But this is an outtake. I've been playing this for 26 years, and it still has the oxide, the original. Why it's holding on, I can't tell you. It's 3M tape. It was good tape, but it was old, and this is really what they call a safety or an outtake.
Heartbeat, why do you miss when my baby kisses me?
Great, just such a neat feeling to be able to do that after all these years, especially. So, just amazing. It was just awesome to be able to go in and do that and just see it so close, hands-on. We're walking down this hallway, and he goes, "See this carpet you're walking on? This is the same carpet they walked on in '59." And Norman Petty, you'd get a kick out of his studio because Norman Petty was way ahead of his time. He used to have, it was a house that the studio was built out of, and there were speakers everywhere, even in the bathroom. So when you're sitting in the kitchen, you could hear the playback of the music that your group is doing in there. And he also had, he was into remotes too. So he had like this old radio sitting in the kitchen while you're having coffee or tea. It'll play through the radio what's going on in the studio. I mean, he was so, and out on the back patio, speakers out on the ceiling, so you could hear what's going on in the studio. It was awesome. Norman's studio was designed for recording artists, and their type of recording artists that they were, it was perfect for Buddy Holly and the Crickets. People who were doing their own music. Norman, the way he made agreements with his artists that came in, he didn't charge them by the hour like a lot of big studios did. He charged them a flat fee and let them take the time that they needed to get the music the way they wanted to do. So it was a good environment for Buddy Holly and the Crickets. It was perfect for them. I wish I'd been here, come out here maybe 10 years ago. It would have been even cool. But then you guys were what? Grade school. So, that would have been tougher, right? That's back when you had toy cameras, right? They weren't real ones. So we're now in Texas for our next leg of the journey. You guys ready for the Buddy Holly Center? This is the West Texas wind we heard about. We're experiencing it today.
I think it's a great experience for all the Buddy Holly fans. What was your favorite part? Seeing his guitar?
Yeah, I really wanted to see what his guitar looked like. It looks like he put a lot of miles on it in the short time that he had it. He only had a lot of playing. Yep, he only had it for a couple of years, and I remember reading that his brothers loaned him the money so he can buy a Stratocaster. And anyway, it's pretty neat to see the guitar that he played. I think it's a really neat place, and it's really good for people who don't know that much about Buddy Holly. But we've spent a lot of time learning about Buddy Holly prior to being here. So there's a lot of things that were sort of repetitive, things we already knew about. And what I was mostly fascinated was the studio in Clovis, because we were actually learning things that we did not know about. And there's a lot of things that aren't in the books about Buddy Holly. They're not you can't find them in the books that people write about him. And going to the studio was very educational. I really enjoyed that. So I think that it sort of was reverse from what I originally imagined. I thought that Clovis would be just a quick stopover, and this was going to be the big highlight. But for me, I think the Norman Petty studio was really just the neatest part of it all, because you can you can actually just get so close up to everything that happened back in the 50s when they were doing these recordings. So I think that was the highlight of it. The Buddy Holly Center was more of a built for the general public, a little more commercial, a little more hands-off, where you might stand back and look at, Buddy Holly's bed that he slept in or something like that. To me, the music side of it is the most, that's what I want to see and learn about. So I really enjoyed the tour of the studio, and thank you, Kenneth Broad, for taking the time that you did, because you really went out of his way to show us that place, and we learned so much there, all of us did. So I wanted to mention that, and that was great. Glad that we did it.
It really hit home. You hear and you see things, you read things, but until I actually went to the cemetery in Lubbock, boy, that was tough. It hit me hard, really hit me hard.
Long, long time ago, I can still remember how the music used to make me smile. And I knew if I had my chance that I could make those people dance, and maybe they'd be happy for a while. February made me shiver with every paper I delivered. Bad news on the doorstep. I could not take one more step. I can't remember if I cried when I read about his widowed bride, but something touched me deep inside the day. The music died.
It's very sad, very tragic, but for people like Mike and groups like ours, the music doesn't die.
So in following the tradition, anyone who visits the Buddy Holly grave site, bring a guitar pick along with you and leave it there, and pick up one and take it with you as a souvenir. So that's what we did.
Now, Buddy's fans, I call them friends, that through the years have kept his memory and music alive. There's no words to express my sincere gratitude to all of them. I know Buddy is looking down and saying, thanks to all of you for bestowing this honor. And I'm saying now, my dear Buddy, you love to go to the movies. You told me that one of your dreams was to write scores for movies and make your mark in Hollywood. Well, my dear, half of your dream unfortunately did not come true, but the other half did come true with a beautiful star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Happy birthday, Buddy, on your 75th year, and thank you again to all of you.
It's time to unveil the star.
Oh, here we go. The moment of excitement. Bad angle.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we proudly welcome to the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Buddy Holly. Hey. All right.
Okay, let's see if we get Tom. Marty and Tom.
Can you tell them about the tattoo?
Oh, I didn't know I was being interviewed. Yes, my dad was only 10 when Buddy died in the plane crash, but he got me into Buddy and roots rock and roll when I was a little girl. And I was the youngest ever member of the Buddy Holly Memorial Society because my dad signed me up when I was a little girl.
That's awesome.
And my dad used to go to Lubbock every year for Buddy Holly Week. I never actually made it, but my dad died very suddenly several years ago now, and it turned my life upside down. I'm still messed up. But A few years after he died, I knew what I had to get for my first tat as a perfect tribute to my dad, and I even put some of my dad's ashes in the ink for the tat. And because Buddy Holly and music were a huge, huge bond between us.
We're so glad Larry could make it here today. Are you having fun?
Oh, definitely.
I'm glad.
Definitely.
It was a neat ceremony, wasn't it?
It was.
I got to tell you, folks, I'm Melrose Larry Green from the Howard Stern Show. Tonight I'm going to see Comeback Buddy at the Whiskey. But I love Buddy Holly, and I love Mike Randall. Let me tell you something. His true passion is music. Where are you, Mike?
He was the guy that I saw, like, how long was it? 19 years ago. I was driving to work, and he'd be holding the sign up saying Howard Stern for president. And I was thinking, where does that come from? I mean, who's going to do that for a job? And it was him. I mean, seriously, it was that guy. It was like the funniest thing that I would come back and meet him. Because it'd be like traffic, like busier than this, and you'd be waiting to make a turn to go to work in the morning, and it'd be a guy standing there with this big sign, Howard Stern for president.
I'll see you tonight, right? I'll be there. Party on, Josh. Party on, Brian.
All right. Ready?
Well, we went to the Buddy Holly Star ceremony today, and it was very cool. We got to see we got to see Maria Elena there, and actually a real highlight with me is I got to shake hands with my favorite guitar player, and that's James Burton. And James Burton played with Ricky Nelson in the 50s, and he was also known for playing with Elvis in his supergroup in the 70s. But anyway, we're gonna do a song that James Burton played on with Ricky Nelson. I believe what you say when you say don't kiss nobody else but me. I believe what you say when you say you're gonna steady with nobody else but me. I believe, I believe, yeah, I believe, pretty baby, I believe you're gonna steady with nobody else but me. Well, it's just one thing that I want you to know when you're rocking with me, you don't rock too slow. Move on up, you toe to toe, ain't gonna rock till I can't rock no more. I believe, I believe, yeah, I believe, pretty baby, I believe you're gonna steady with nobody else but me.
We have made rock and roll history tonight. This is Buddy Holly Day, and if Buddy Holly were alive and if his widow, Maria, were able to come down here at Garey Busey, they would have had the greatest time tonight. They had a big event over the music box, but this was just as good. In fact, better, because I didn't have to pay to come here. I got a free ticket.
I'd like to introduce our band to you real quick here. This is Mr. Dominic Torres on drums. Let's give him a big hand. And this is Janine Randall, otherwise known as Peggy Sue on the bass. My name's Mike, sometimes known as Buddy, sometimes known as something else, and we're Comeback Buddy. We're glad to be here tonight. To celebrate Buddy Holly's 75th birthday, this is Buddy Holly Day in Los Angeles.
This was amazing. Comeback Buddy is the name of the band, and it's three people like Cream, worked for Eric Clapton and Winwood and Ginger Baker, but they were beautiful. And Mike really becomes Buddy Holly. And Buddy Holly was a simple musician. Didn't have a lot of sound effects. Didn't have all the things that the bands have now. He was the epitome of less is more. And this band is more than a tribute band. This is a unique band. And they didn't just do Buddy Holly. They did tributes to everybody. It was really beautiful the way they did a tribute to everybody that died in that terrible plane crash.
Thank you so much.
I had a pleasure of talking with Mike and his lovely wife today. And they're wonderful people. They have grown kids. You know what? Nowadays, when you're in your 40s, life just... I did my first Howard Stern show at 41. So anyway, that's great. Everybody go check out this band. Comeback Buddy, and they probably have other names, other bands. They're great. And Mike, I never got to see Buddy Holly, but now I really feel like I've seen Buddy Holly. Good. Thanks a lot, folks. Hope I didn't use up too much battery time.
You know, I can honestly say that the people that we've played for, 99 and 9/10% of them have been very, very appreciative of the music, have loved the band. It's why we get hired back year after year for a lot of those events. So that's the cool part of playing with Comeback Buddy, I think.
It's been very rewarding to play this music. It's been able to, it's opened doors for us to do things that we never imagined we would do. And it's allowed us to show people music that's been taken off the radios. I mean, oldies now are 60s music, so it's been rewarding to us to be able to present the music and try and keep it alive.
They really are still with us. They haven't died. Their music, the love that everyone still has for them is still very real. So it means a lot to us to be able to bring those feelings back to people, and how much it means to them, and how so many people that come out to our concerts and that get to hear Mike sing, it just brings back so many happy memories for them and takes them back to a time when life was simpler and the music was genuine music. It was what it was, and that can never be replaced.
The documentary itself is something I sort of pictured would be neat to do something, and meeting both you two and being able to do the documentary, and you guys are been great to be working with both of you, because you guys are become really good fans of the band, and I've learned that from our road trip, and so I think that you guys are gonna. Here's what I think is going to happen. I've thought about this already, because when I did this music when I was a little younger than both of you, I learned so much about that era that I would have never learned in any classroom. And I think that it's not so much what I'll be doing in 10 years or 20 years, but I really think that in 20 years from now or 30 years from now, you guys are going to know things and understand things about this era of music that nobody in your generation knows anything about unless they watch the documentary. And you guys will take with it what you've learned from it. You'll take your knowledge and appreciation for that music in that era, and I think that you'll always appreciate it based on this. You'll go off and you'll do other things with film, I'm sure, and I think you will be always listening to this kind of music as part of your, let's say, menu of music that you listen to. You just will, because you guys are fans. You know, you're fans of that generation, that music, and I feel good about that I can sort of hand that to you guys, because I didn't really have anyone else to hand it to. And so I think that you will be able to show it to other people with the documentary, and they can learn about it too. So I'm hoping that. I hope that I can keep doing what I do the best that I possibly can as I'm, getting into my later years. So I won't be as young as I am now. So.
Please welcome the return of the phenomenally world-renowned Comeback Buddy!
We're going to play a song right now because I think we're winding it down. We're going to do a song that was the very first song that Buddy Holly wrote. It was inspired by a John Wayne movie called The Searchers. And in that movie, John Wayne was asked if he was going to quit on his quest. His reply was, "That'll be the day." Anyway, Buddy Holly was a big John Wayne fan, and he came home from the movie theater one day, and his drummer said, "Well, Buddy, why don't we try writing our own songs?" His reply was, "Well, that'll be the day." Anyway, that's a little trivia for you. We're so glad we could be here.
Well, that'll be the day you say goodbye. That'll be the day when you make me cry. You say you're gonna leave, you know it's like us. That'll be the day when I die. Well, you give me all your love and you tear riches and your money too. You know you love me, baby, and if you tell me, baby, that someday when oh, will that be the day when you say goodbye? Be the day when you make me cry. You say you're gonna leave. You know what you like, 'cause that'll be the day when I die. Say goodbye, be the day when you make me cry. You say you're gonna leave, you know what's like. That'll be the day when I'm down. When you shout dark, you shout at your heart. And if we ever part and I leave you, you know you told me and you got me holding that someday. Oh, well, that'll be the day when you say goodbye. When I'm down, that'll be the day. Ooh, that'll be the day. Ooh, that'll be the day. Ooh, that'll be the day. Thank you so much. Well, that'll be the day. Ooh, that'll be the day. Ooh, that'll be the day. Ooh, that'll be the day.
Yeah.
Love that song.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
All right. I think it's a wrap.
Alrighty.
Who are these guys with the cameras? And I didn't say anything. I just thought you guys were doing a project or something. And so then I asked Mike, I said, who are those two guys that are coming with the cameras and stuff? I said, I should talk to them. They've been at like 3 or 4 things we played at. And he goes, oh, didn't I tell you? I'm like, oh, no, you didn't.
All my love, all of my kissing, you don't know what you've been missing, oh boy. I let go of me, oh boy. Oh, world, see that you were meant for me. All my life I've been away, tonight there'll be no hesitation, oh boy. I let go of me, oh boy. Oh, world, see that you were meant for me.
And a while back we played a birthday party for a lady that told us when she was 12 she got to see Elvis in concert. And at that time there were a lot of security around because everyone wanted to get near Elvis. Well, she had a plan and she was in the front row and she brought a friend with her. And what happened is her friend turned and kissed the security guard next to them. When she did that, she jumped up and grabbed Elvis around like that. Thanks, Tom. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for the demonstration.
Wherever he is, if he's playing his guitar and he's singing Johnny Cash songs, my cat comes right in and she just parks it right where he is and just stares at him while he's singing. So even my cat loves Buddy.
We played in Glendale a few weeks ago and we have this new banner back here. This stands for Come Back Buddy, but somebody thought it was the Chuck Berry Band.
Oh, boy!
Mike, you need more. these guys say that you do not have enough groupie chicks hanging around, groupie chicks hanging around with your band. That's what they're after.
Okay, we'll see you later.
Okay, all right. Hey, nothing ventured, nothing gained.